Good afternoon. I'm not teaching. I am going to pray us in. I will give a brief overview of why we are here and introduce our speaker, and then we'll get right into it. Lord Jesus, we thank you. We thank you for this day. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for ordering our steps and our thoughts today, Lord. We pray that you be in this place, Lord. We pray that the information is helpful, and Lord, that we are able to take it to the next level to support your children, not only in this church, but outside these walls. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen. Okay, so today will be a informal session, and we have a speaker that is going to teach us about what autism is, how to support the youth and the parents, and it's not just the it's not just youth, it's adults too. So I think some people misconstrue that it's adults. Well, kids grow up to be adults. So um, I brought this up because I, most of you know, I work with youth, but I work with youth in church and outside of church. I also have a niece that's autistic. So I am sensitive to a lot of things just because I'm around it. And we wanted to have this informational because if you are informed, you learn to give people more grace. You learn that maybe the things that are showing outward are not just them. There's something that else is going on. We don't want to label, we don't want to downplay anybody. So this is just informational. It's going to be open. So I'm not going to steal the mic because I could. Whenever it comes to kiddos, I'm all in. So I have to restrain myself. So I'm going to bring up Jay. Jay works with a lot of different ages, adults and youth that are on the spectrum. And if you know about the spectrum or if you don't, there's multiple pieces of the spectrum. It's not just one. So he's going to talk about his experience. We'll maybe do some scenarios so that you understand. And again, it's grace. So when somebody doesn't hug you, they pull back, it's not personal. And that's what this is really about. So Jay, I'll bring you up and
Thank you so much, Tasha. I appreciate the warm welcome. Thank you, everyone, for having me here. I appreciate this. This is my first informational, so I'm very excited. Thank you for being a part of it with me. And I want to thank God for waking us up Wednesday morning. I'd like for everyone to show me with their hands between 1 and 5, 1 being bad, 5 being great. How are we feeling on this hump day? Let's see some hands. I see some 5s, some 3s. Thank you for being honest. Some 4s, some 1s. I feel that. Maybe some 2s, a little bit in between. I'm in between. Thank you. You put your hands down. So a little bit about me. I'm Jaden. I go by Mr. J in school. Some people call me Mr. Blue Jay. That's our special connection I have with my kids, my students. So I work at a Montessori and MPS, grades 1 through 3. And we have a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Sometimes it can be too much fun, sometimes it's not enough at all. But we deal with however the day comes. Anytime that we show up, we're present. That means so much to our kids. It means so much to the people that we talk to. It means so much to everyone, even parents. Everyone appreciates you being here, ready, and I appreciate you most of all. A little bit of experience I have is in Milwaukee Recreation. I have been working there since last year in June. We deal with people who are on the spectrum, ages from 3 to 12. Over that course of time, over the summertime, we get to understand how we could talk and interact with people who may be on the spectrum. Do we have a brave volunteer who might want to raise their hand, sharing what they believe autism is? You're not included. It's all right. It's all right. So Oh, here we go. Yes. There are no wrong answers at all. Hmm. Here, take my mic. Take mine. There you go.
What I believe, first of all, I have a nephew that has autism. And what I believe autism is a different way of looking at life. And that's what helps me with dealing with him. He just has a totally different perspective in how he sees things versus how I see things. And that's what I believe autism is. He has a very unique way of looking at things. Um, man, I mean, he has a beautiful way of looking at things. He doesn't point out everyone's faults. However, he will call you on the stuff that he knows that you should or you shouldn't be doing. He knows when you're lying because he'll tell you, no, that didn't happen. He just has a very unique way, and I think it's a beautiful way of looking at life versus the way some other people look at life.
First name? Thank you, Sister Tanya. Testimonies are so important when we learn about how to approach people who are on the spectrum, mainly because they may be dealing with something that we do not know about quite yet. So I appreciate you sharing that information. I'm also a cognitive behavioral art and play therapist. This is something that I've learned online to do with kids. So we may have some blocks set up, see how they might put something together. If we can't really put it into words, we might have clay. They might form it together. If we have letters, they might spell out how they feel. So many ways of expression through art. I'm personally an artist. That's why I have a soft speaking voice with how I talk. So I apologize if you can't hear me in the back, but I'll try to speak up as much as possible. Thank you, sir. So this session is to include why this work matters. It's a friendship that changed everything and some of the people I met alongside my journey. Understanding autism and empathy, boundaries, and structure. So the quote I got for you is creating welcoming spaces for teens of all abilities. Let's get that next slide up, please. Start reading the next slide as we get it going. In quotes we have, most autistic individuals are not trying to be difficult. They are trying to navigate a world that can sometimes be overwhelming. Can I get a raise of hands of who can relate with that? Let me read it a little faster again. Most autistic individuals are not trying to be difficult. They are trying to navigate a world that can sometimes be overwhelming. I feel that. The one thing I want everyone to take away from this is that being on the spectrum, how I look at it, some people may say the word disabled, I say differently abled. Mainly because they may have different facets, different expertise that you hadn't even known existed yet. They may teach you something. And that's what I find so invigorating and powerful to learn from so many different walks of life, depending on the ages, depending on how tall they are, where they come from. We are all people at the end of the day. And the main takeaway that I want to give to you from this presentation is that there is no one size that fits all. No one should ever feel if they are put in a box or labeled. They want to feel included. They want to be a part of a community. They want to come here and be with you. You might even be sitting right next to someone who has someone, a very special someone in their heart that is on the spectrum and they want to be seen. Let's go on with the next slide, please. So, covering what we talked about, what is autism? Autism is a neurological difference. It's something that's in the brain. It's not something that people are trying to be difficult or need different catering to. And you might hear me say the word different a lot because in society we often have a time of this is how things are supposed to be done. This is how the world works. I don't know about you, but I know about me when it comes to this world wasn't ready for me. This was not a world ready for me, and I want to do my best to bring my gifts to the table, bring it to people of any experiences that I have learned, and bring it to you. So you're more equipped and ready to engage with almost anyone. So the areas of differences I'd like to cover is social interaction. Social interaction can come through how we talk to each other. Maybe it could be at a drive-through. Maybe it could be at like a place of community. As mentioned before, what we will cover in our scenarios is how we can approach someone that may or may not want to be hugged or touched, because that can be a stress response of having contact. It's something that you might be, hey, I want to give you a hug, and that might be a big no in today's day. But you didn't do anything wrong. It all came from a good place in your heart. So we want to bridge that gap, and how do we still make that connection, make people still feel seen and loved, most importantly. Love is the answer for so much of this. More on our sensory input. Some of the sensory inputs that we can have often include some of the negative stressors that you might see. We will get into that into another slide. But our sensory input could be anything as soothing as music when you have a stressful day. It could be taking a walk around the neighborhood or like a park that you might have, and having some of those interactions that you have, feeling the sun on your skin, hearing the birds chirping, taking that moment to be present and here today. Another area of difference you might notice is communication, how we talk to people. I often have a very slow talk because I noticed when I talk slow, people want to hear me closer, instead of me talking really fast and then you start losing all the details and the information going on and on and on. Routine we'll get into later, which has to do with our structure, having structure inside of that work environment, because a routine, have you ever felt, maybe it's just me, that if there is something not happening in the day that you knew was supposed to happen this exact way doesn't happen? The expectation, I like to go with an acronym for fear. I call it false expectations appearing real. False expectations appearing real. Because you see it in your mind, you know how you're going to attack it that day, and then it doesn't even come. And then you feel like you have this pent-up energy and you don't know where to put it. Take that walk, listen to some music, communicate with the people who care most about you. Some common strengths that I see in people who have ASD, which is autism spectrum, autistic spectrum disorder, is pattern recognition. They pick up on patterns like this sometimes. Honesty, having this brutal honesty. Hey, you forgot to shower. Thank you for this. Focus. Some focus may be a strength for them as well. having this focus of having that conversation, what are their interests? You might see some of their passions that they have that just naturally comes out. You want to be there to help support, to uplift, like you already do, I'm sure. Just a little extra sensitivity goes a long way with people who may have ASD. Creativity, woo, by golly. I love the creativity. When I go into work in Milwaukee Recreation, it makes my whole month, it makes my day, it makes my week to see what comes from people who may view life different than us. You could see it in their art. People who also such as Albert Einstein. He was one of those people who was on the spectrum. And the spectrum is so vast. It could be something as minor as a hearing disorder to someone who may just have autism or may have Down syndrome. And the spectrum here that I want to point out is spectrum equals different for everyone. Spectrum I also like to use with light. I love light. I'm a nerd for light. From X-rays, gamma rays, visible rays, you name it. All of those rays are here, present, in this room, inside and outside of our bodies. We don't always feel it, but it's there. Imagine those emotions, that energy we have vibrating in our body when we stub our toe or hit our hand, it might vibrate. Those cells are us, every single one of us. Even the people who are on the spectrum, they also play a part in our community too. If we were to remove certain aspects of our community, we wouldn't know life as we know it today. So no two autistic individuals are exactly alike, which is why curiosity matters more than assumptions. We do not assume. There's something about that I can't really say right now about assumptions. We'll go on to the next slide, please. Do we have anyone who may want to share before we go on to this slide here? Oh, darn, my images. My question is, what are some behaviors you've seen that made you wonder if someone was overwhelmed? We'll start over. That's the question.
I thought you just meant share.
Yeah, the first thought. I want the first thought first.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, the first thought is about how many older individuals that were undiagnosed just because the language wasn't there. And so when you were mentioning like Albert Einstein, like I just finished Lionel Richie's autobiography, and he's on the spectrum. And my dad, who's a savant and plays so many instruments. And I met at a museum conference, I met someone who runs the Transit Museum in New York, and I was telling her about my dad. My dad's a huge train collector, has been his whole life. And she's like, he's one of my people. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, he's autistic. And I was like, what? She just blew my mind. Like, you just diagnosed my dad, like at a convention. And a few years ago, I got my dad to start going to therapy for a plethora of reasons. And sure enough, he's autistic. And you're right, it shows up so differently because he's an engineer, he's a musician, he is so many things. He's brilliant, he's a genius. And Lionel Richie, a genius. And so 1 in 31 individuals, I've done so much, I have a nephew who's 11 that's on the spectrum. 1 in 31 individuals are autistic, and there's this assumption that, it doesn't come with brilliance and high functioning and creativity and so many other things.
Yes.
And there's just so much beauty in it. And they do think, I call it superpower, special abilities.
Yes.
It's just to watch and to talk to my nephew and watch him build and do with his Legos and sit on the floor with him in his room and listen to him talk. And, I talk to him after school multiple days a week. He lives in another state. Okay, so what was your question?
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate, before we go into it, of how you mentioned how people on the spectrum have like a sense of beauty to it.
Yes.
It is very beautiful.
It is. It is.
Yes, Latasha. Oh, thank you for sharing.
So mine's with the overwhelming. My niece is nonverbal.
Yes.
So when she gets overwhelmed, sometimes she'll hit herself, or she'll do like kind of do that because she needs to. And so the family knows, so we kind of know like, okay, how do we calm down?
Right.
And she has little things that will calm her down.
Yes.
So I see that when I am in my classrooms and I'm doing my workshops.
Yes.
I can tell the interact, like they may not interact with everybody, or they interact different.
Right, right.
So then I can tell, okay, I have something going on here, but I don't single them out, but I just know I need to make them feel more included.
Yes.
So that they don't feel behind. So I've noticed it different ways. It's different when you have somebody that's nonverbal. You really have to, watch it and all of that.
Right. No, thank you for sharing with that. That's so important too, because if there may be someone who's on the spectrum who might be dealing with like.
Got some.
Oh yes. Get a microphone.
Is this working? Okay. The whole time you've been talking,
Yes, sir.
it happened to remind me of a student I've been working with in a chess program at a school. And he has some special time set aside because the time I'm teaching chess, he signed up for art this year.
Yeah.
But he liked chess last year. But the last time I saw him, I have no knowledge that he has any kind of diagnosis or anything.
Right.
But I was trying to work through a pattern, a strategy, an opening strategy with him.
Yes.
And he was repeatedly moving the pieces the exact opposite from what I was telling him. And the method I've learned is it's important for them to have their hands on the pieces, not watch me do it. And I sort of tried to acquire what is this all about? You told me you like chess. We set this up specially.
Right.
And what I finally got from him is he'd had some bad experiences during the day. And a lot of them involved people telling him to do things he didn't want to do. And he said, so when people do that, I just do the exact opposite of whatever they tell me.
Yep.
And that had just sort of carried over into he was just continuing to do that. After we talked through it a little bit, we got back on track because I knew what was in his mind. He knew that I knew what was in his mind.
Yes.
And then he snapped back into, but this is something I want to learn.
So sometimes that may be their way of learning, right? Doing the opposite. Yep.
One more.
So I'm a sub-secretary. So today, since we're on the topic about autism, so it's an autism boy who they don't know how to deal with at my school at the moment. He literally beat them up every other day. And today he made a teacher nosebleed. And I think, well, because I have a comprehensive problem because of a disease I was born with.
Yes.
So I realized I even worked with older people who had Alzheimer's and dementia, and I even say that dementia and Alzheimer's is like a autism for old people, because they can't comprehend what's going on. So they so overwhelmed, they just defense mechanism. They don't know that you're there to help them.
Right.
They can't comprehend. They can't know what's going on, because I know that I got comprehension problems because I can't catch on fast enough. Like if you say a joke, I might catch on 5 minutes later.
Yep.
Or you say like a little you know how you say something funny, like a little shot. I might pick on later because I can't comprehend what you just said right now. I gotta process it.
Understood.
So I think autism get overwhelmed and combative or can't verbally communicate well at the moment because they can't comprehend what you're saying to them or what they're
100%.
doing. They think you out to get them more than help them. So
100%.
you gotta know how to approach them too, because I gotta figure out how to tell them how to deal with them. How like y'all have to approach this autism kid a different way, because he feel like you a target. He fighting y'all, and you gotta leave work early because you just got knocked out by an autism kid because how you approach them.
100%. And more on to that point.
Cause I was trained working with older, like with people, like with them type of people. Your approach and your tone,
The tone
and
is
you gotta make it a
important.
safe place. Cause they already easily triggered. Cause they can't, they look at the world
Yep.
differently.
You hit the nail right on the head with that one. How many of us have approached someone trying to help us with maybe a defensive response? And then later on, you learn that they could be your best friend in disguise. I sure have had that happen to me many, many times. So I want to thank you for people sharing their stories as well, because this all helps us together. It's not just me on the stage telling this is how it is. It's all of us collectively.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
So I have a dear friend. Well, he's a brother to me, and he has a son that's diagnosed with autism, and I struggle with how to ask him as a friend and as a brother, is he okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I see how it may be something, well, I'll put it like this. Autism, as I see with his son, is new
Yes.
in the hood. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I've never had a friend or a brother that had to wrestle with that. Like in our community, I think we was more or less, we'll put somebody in the attic. We'll put them in the basement, the back room. We didn't deal with it. And that's carried on in
Yep.
generations.
And then there became a
where-
pattern.
Yeah, I
Yep.
see someone that's in their early 40s, vibrant, has had kids before who didn't have or who hasn't been diagnosed or who hasn't been said that they're on the spectrum yet, although they may be, we don't know it with all our families, right? But to see him deal, I struggle with how to ask him, is he okay?
Of course.
Is that something that's normal?
Yes. Mainly because if this is a generational thing that you've noticed, you are the one who has become aware to recognize that there is a different way of going about it. You are almost like the generational curse breaker. So that I would be very proud of that, and I hope these tools that I delivered to you today could help assist with this more. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. So we have our slides up. Oh, that's just me. Hello. There's some X's here, but I'll tell you what they are. Common experiences for teens on the spectrum. Some of the stressors that you might find in your community as well is focusing situations on relevant, loud worship music can also trigger having almost like a panic attack, like there's someone constantly tapping on you, tapping on your shoulder, tapping on your leg. It's activity. That activity might make someone a little jittery, a little nervous. Being mindful of that is super important so everyone is included and has a really good time. Unexpected schedule changes, we mentioned before, having that structure being changed could set someone like a little discombobulated, as if the rug has been whipped out from beneath their feet. And the routine is so important is because it helps people stay on track. Sometimes things happen, life happens, but communicating that before this happens. We don't want to feel the same way they don't want to feel, we don't want to feel. We go by this golden rule of treat others the way you want to be treated. And large groups in physical proximity, we had someone share earlier that 1/3 of the population could have autism. And some of them could also be you as well. Do you ever get anxiety when you're in a group setting? Have you been up here on stage and maybe felt eyes staring at you? empathizing with that, seeing how can you make it comfortable for someone who may feel uncomfortable. In the blue circle, we have a speaker for the, let's say that's loud music bumping. That can be an overload. And in the middle, in the purple, we have a stress face. He's crying like this. And in the third one, the light blue, we have behavior. These are our 3 ways of how do we approach it. If we see a stressor, maybe there's music. We see someone stressed out, and we'll have our scenario up here very soon. So if that's you, think about if you would like to come up. And some of the things you might see in volunteers or participants that are on the spectrum, that might be like a key indicator of there's something stressful going on. Ooh, maybe I should save that. I will save that for when we have our volunteer come up. Let's go on to the next slide, please. Oh, so sorry. Go on ahead.
Well, I don't have a question, but I want to first off thank you.
You're welcome.
Forgive me. I want to thank you for just coming in and teaching on it. But I want to say that people who are autism, there's a difference between having autism and being Down syndrome. Number one.
Yes.
Down syndrome is a genetic chromosome disease. You
Yes.
know, sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's not. But with autistic people, I've been dealing with being around people that's different for 33 years. They're the most intelligent individuals ever.
Yes.
They are so smart, and a lot of times people misjudge them. And it's hurtful, and it does take learning how to approach them. And I use my daughter, for example, and just some of the difference between autism and people that's Down syndrome.
Yes.
With Down syndrome, it's through through birth. You can kind of pretty much know that they have Down syndrome based off their eyes, the forms in their hands.
Yes.
But they have, not only do it affect their features, but it comes with cognitive delay issues with them. And what I've learned throughout the years, and this is still an ongoing thing, like with my daughter, and I believe Pastor can be a witness to this. She doesn't just allow people to touch her. She won't go up to people because they feel too. They understand. They can feel spirits. They're very smart. But it took her a while to warm up to him. Am I right or wrong? Before she touched them. Some people in the church, she bags off. As far as routine, they like a routine. When it's go off track, it takes them out. It makes them feel threatened, afraid. They fall down. They become stubborn. It's so much to what you're saying. And the reason why I'm getting emotional is because maybe you can teach too on how parents or people that's dealing with it, how to help them with it, because it's a load.
Right.
It's a load, and it becomes frustrating to people that have to deal with it every day.
Right.
We do it with pride and joy, but it's very frustrating and even hurtful sometimes. So I just want to thank you all for bringing this to the church attention.
And how we give some support. What we like to do in our safe space is sometimes we do some snaps for affirmations. So I appreciate you sharing that a lot. It reminds me of there being a quote of, it takes a village to raise a child. Same will go for the community, the lovely community you have around here. For if there's anyone that you need more assistance with, you have all of these lovely people here ready to support. And because you communicated that with passion, emotion, we thank you for it. Thank you. We got a question over here. Question?
Yeah, I got a art. Anybody with autism? Okay, he's kind of handicapped, and I had to catch myself a couple of times. Number one, he don't understand, and he ain't gonna never understand. And you gotta realize that you can't get mad when he's doing something you don't like. Because if he understood, he wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I had to catch myself because I be getting mad sometimes. Like when he called me. See, we get him so many times a month, and he called me. That's because he feel, number one, he feel comfortable around me. He know me, and I just got to quit getting frustrated when my name is called. I got to get used to it because he's comfortable around me, so that's why he called me. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta look at it that way instead of the negative way.
Yep. It's all about shifting your perspective. Yes.
And I wouldn't use the term that they would never, because I was told a lot of things with Javon when she was younger about what she wouldn't do. But when I got in the Lord, God stopped a lot of some of the things that she was doing. And he healed her from a lot of stuff too that she was going on. It's just about us, like what you teaching us, showing us how to do. When they find a way when we find a way that they communicate and work with them, you can see some progress. Haven't you seen progress with individuals with disabilities?
100%.
It can happen.
100%.
We just trust God and just keep praying for them.
Got a question? 2 questions?
I have a question. If a child is able to learn and function, obviously very well, because autism, usually they're very smart, autistic kids.
Yes.
So if they're able to learn all their basics and they can interact, it might be a little bit of issues, but it's not so severe. Do you think it's still good to get them diagnosed, or?
For sure.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. Because we never want to assume that there is something else than we don't know, and having a professional opinion would definitely be suitable for our minds and how we go about approaching this person as well.
So since you work in the schools a little bit too, so what are they gonna do? Because I'm afloat, and NPS or some certain NPS schools taking away that because they don't want to deal with them anymore because it's too stressful. Because they know how to approach them, and they triggering them, and they keep the autism kid today at my school going to get suspended for something he can't control, and I know his mom is holding her composure, so his mama don't barely know what to do either. She just probably don't know where to send them, or she's just tolerating it.
It can be so tough to approach someone that is on the spectrum without the proper tools needed. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Amen to that. Don't forget them, because we will have a discussion at the end of any questions that you have, for sure. Go ahead.
I work with autism children for 8 years. I was at Milwaukee Park School of the Arts. What I was gonna say, back what she was saying.
Yes.
This is probably the way they was approached that child, because he should never get suspended.
Yeah.
Because it's all in approach, and it's all in how they dealing with him in his environment. Because I used to be a assistant to a child outside of the school for autism, so his parents could respite care.
Right.
So his parents could get a rest. But it's all in approach. It's all in your approach with them, because anything can trigger them.
Yes.
To go, So and you got so many people coming at him too. It could have been so many people around him at the same time. So there's no right for him to get suspended.
It is no right for it. Preaching to the choir. I appreciate that. And that's a great segue into our next slide here, being why overload. I don't know why I keep looking back there. Why overload happens. So some of the overload components we may have is sound. Go ahead, say sound. Lights. Touch. Crowds. And unpredictability. Nice job. Imagine one of those sounds combined with another one of those stressors, and then you add on another one, and another one, and another one. I'm feeling the anxiety just talking about it. I can only imagine how it feels when you're someone, like an individual with autism, maybe dealing with this sound in one ear, then you're taking in lights with this sense, and then you're taking in touch with this sense. And then crowds just add on a whole nother layer of energy and whatever we may bring in from the outside indoors. We don't know everyone's situations, and communication helps severely, whether you're on the spectrum or not. As an example I have for those, it says a worship service might include music, lights, people, movement, and emotional energy. For someone with autism spectrum disorder, that can feel like 5 radios playing at once. You might hear one, but you can't hear them all, so you get maybe frustrated. Let's go on ahead with the next slide, please. Here's the tools, here's the tools. Because I like everyone saying after me, observe. Empathize. Adapt. And support. Let's look at the first one, observe. This one, I need everyone to pay attention closely, because you might be up here. Observe. Notice patterns. What is, let's say, a teen for this scenario? What is the teen doing? What has changed? Empathize. This is something I can only tell you about. I cannot teach empathy. This is something that comes from within. It's very powerful. It's something that today, in today's world, unfortunately, we lack a lot of. Whether or not you feel it in a small interaction or over a whole course of talking with someone, and you come back feeling icky, drained, exhausted. Protect that energy. Third one is adapt. Adjusting the environment or expectations to reduce the stressor. Making this space a safe space. And the last but not least is support. Offer guidance calmly. No urgency and no pressure. Observe. Empathize. Adapt. Support. Nice job, everyone. Go on to the next slide, please. The next slide that we have, when we update it, please, is called Practical Volunteer Tools. Number 1 has to do with clear communication. We'll get that up real quick. By using direct language, giving clear direction, not ifs, not ands, it gets lost in the sauce. We want to make sure to deliver the whole product as is. Mean what you say what you mean. Predictable structure is number 2. Having a whole set routine that you may have, maybe it's set in times. Where are you supposed to be at this time? When are we supposed to get moving at this time? And transitions also take time. With my kids, transition takes at least 15 minutes. Should take 5, but we're not going there. Number 3 is physical space options. So this is an example of options to step outside. So if you have someone who may be beating on themselves, removing them away from all the activity. If this is outside and that's inside, you made a world of difference for them. Talking to them, meeting them at their level. And number 4 as you might have noticed through the presentation, a calm tone. Calm tone. It makes us feel safe. It makes us feel seen. It makes us feel heard. A calm tone regulates and helps others regulate their emotions and energy at that time. A steady, unhurried voice signals safety. Not having to be somewhere right away. We got to do this, that, and third. Too much. Let's start with 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Go ahead and we're going to hit the next slide, please. So this one you can do from your seats. It's a little mini demonstration. I'm going to teach you how to breathe again. Go on ahead in your seat. Blow out all the energy from your gut, all out here. I want you to send that energy to me. Go ahead and exhale to Mr. J. You might have thought that you exhaled all your breath, but there's still air in there. We're going to get that out too. You should be talking like this. We're going to inhale for a count of 4 seconds. You're going to follow me. Inhale through your nose. On the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4 seconds. And exhale for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know it's a little silly, but holding that for 4 seconds. Does anyone feel different after that first breath? You feel calm. Mm-hmm. For sure. Mm-hmm. So anxiety can often be dealt with through your breath, since it's all connected. We'll do a little hand sensory exercise too. Could I have you in the red sweater come on up? So this is what we call a hand exercise. It could also be called like a nursery rhyme for your hand. May I touch your hand? This way up? This one? Okay. We call it the mouse goes around and around and around into the hole. And it goes something like this. It's a hand sensory exercise because our hands, the touch, the feelings can be so sensitive. So anyone touching on your hand, that can also bring some calmness other than the breath. If you have some little ones in the audience, they might like that exercise. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Thank you, thank you. This is my personal story. This is me. Can you tell which one's which? This is my friend Darian. I met him in Milwaukee Recreation over the summertime. He's much younger than I am, but he would reference things from my childhood. I'm 25 years of age. He is around 7, 8, very smart, so intelligent. Can reference things that I didn't even think of or thought to even observe. So we're working on a project together at that time. He was also one of the spelling bee finals, as you can see on his shirt. He's just good with words, something that I cannot even do myself. You think I can speak well up here? This guy's got me beat. Learning their patterns and befriending someone opens up how we feel about people on the spectrum. So if you might have a family member, I have a family member, he's an uncle of mine, his name's Jerome. He's on the spectrum because he deals with schizophrenia. Sometimes I get calls from my grandma saying that he's in the street, wandering past cars zooming right past them. And that's very scary to hear because you want to know what else you can do. And I'm not going to stand here saying that I have an answer for that. But relating with someone who has been on the spectrum or is on the spectrum, having a family member or befriending someone, taking them out to eat, seeing a movie, walking in the park, you are gradually, automatically learning more about this person. Like my friend Tasha over here. We have a special connection because of my mother has connected me to her. I've heard so many great things about her. All the amazing things that she's created on the web. We get to meeting, and then it opens up a whole new door. And here I am now today, speaking in front of you. It's those special moments that you never know what kind of person you might meet and what door they may open for you. Number 2 here is I have reorganizing habits, understanding that certain behaviors were like communication, not problems to fix. We are not problems to be fixed. I could just leave the microphone right here, right now. Some of the things that we deal with are complex, puzzling. Those can maybe be fixed, but us, we are who we are. You can't change that. There's nothing that I could say or do to change you, nor would I want to. But how we can approach this situation, this topic that we're talking about, with empathy, with love, with compassion, it means so much, so much. And you never know. Maybe the man upstairs put you in front of these people for a reason. Gaining comfort interacting. So more on the point of building that confidence with people, having that time spent, that quality time as you would with mom or dad or your cousin, little sister, little bro, little big sis, anyone. You're learning more about them. You may have came from the same person, but you don't know them. So learning and being curious matters so much. And that love and taking that time to be seen and see someone matters so much. Because we felt that before too. All right, Tasha, we're ready for the role play scenarios. Could I have a volunteer who would like to come up and work with me? Could I have right here? Come on up. Let's get some snaps going for them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Did we forget our tools? Next slide, please. OEAS. Observe, empathize, adapt, support. So, you're going to observe. What's your name, by the way? Gabby. Gabby, nice to meet you, Gabby. You're going to observe me. Then you're going to empathize in your own interpretation, adapt, and support. So I'm going to have a seat right over here, and you're going to approach me. Tell me what you might observe. Dr. Gabby. Perfect. Doing very nice, Gabby. Now, what you might say or do is you might try to make a connection with me, like eye contact, like here. This is perfect instinct, by the way, is what she's doing right now is she's leveling with me so she can see and make eye contact like so. So you empathize and adapt. Notice what kind of tone she had. She had a calm tone when she approached me. And support, maybe a friendly question you might ask someone who might be doing this.
Could I touch you and show something that might help you?
Perfect. Let's give an affirmation for her. Thank you, Dr. Gabby. You do high fives? Yep. All right, thank you. Could I have one more volunteer? Yes, you in the back. Come on down. Welcome down. The Price is Right. What's your name? Cameron. Nice to meet you, Cameron. Okay. So, up to you. You're going to observe me, and then you're going to empathize. You might say, what might you be feeling, okay? And how you adapt and support is up to you. Okay. Ready? Yeah. Yes, I just been running. I got this thing over here. I gotta pick this up.
Do all the things at once. You could pick this other things up and then put it away, and then you can put it back, and then you can pick another thing up.
High five. Did you have another expert come in here and already show you guys how to do it? I do want to point out our 2 volunteers are among the youth. So that goes to show that shows me that kids coming into the world today have this heart about them. There's something that we could very much learn from them. I got goosebumps. I don't know if you could see it like that. That moved me. Nice job, nice job, nice job. So before we go on to our next slide for the takeaways, Mr. J is almost done. I know we got things to do. We got something to eat. Oh, my bad. And I won't bring up food. Observe. Go ahead, say observe. Empathize. I love that. Observe and empathize. Those are the 2 tools in your tool belt that don't revolve around contact or interacting with someone. Those 2 alone. I can observe someone, get information, and then I'm going to change how I adapt. If I see someone mad, I'm not going to come in like, what's up? That might not work. I might adapt. I might get me hit for sure. I don't want that smoke. So number 3 and number 4, excuse me. Number 3 and number 4 would have, let's say, adapt. Support. Now this is where we get to interact with people. So you got to observe, you got to adapt your energy and how you approach. You got to empathize with them. Now you adapt how you set all of that into motion and observe, support. Let's do one more exercise. Is there someone who hasn't been up here yet that may want to? Could I have you in the front row come up? Perfect. What's your name? I'm just messing. Hello, Tasha. So for this one we actually practiced before, but I don't want to tell everyone. Now I told them all that we practiced it. She doesn't remember. So this one has to do with hugging. Hugging is not bad, but it should be consensual. If you can. Sometimes we get wrapped up in the moment and we want to hug that person who's mad, and then you get bopped in the face. So your job is to shake your head no until you feel comfortable with accepting. You don't have to accept just because I'm standing here. Oh, okay. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Notice I'm observing over here on the side. She might be kept to herself. I might compose myself, adapt how I'm going to approach someone here. Jumped over empathize. I'm going to empathize with them. Then I'm going to adapt and support. I might come up to them, lower my voice. Hello. Hi. My name is Jaden. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Can I hug you? No? Could we fist bump? You don't know me? Oh, I came through here. I seen that you were alone, and I wanted to invite you a part of our community that we have over here. But if you don't feel comfortable, I will give you your time and check back in with you, okay? So I might, at this point, I don't have to go in again. We're a community, right? So someone else could go in and talk with them. Not just me. Now it takes the pressure off me. Where I've learned this is I actually do a little side tangent. Not tangent, but side fact about me is I do improv. I love getting suggestions from the audience and doing some improv. It's why you might have laughed at some of my silly humor up here. But making sure that if I have a teammate behind me, they might come in and approach them differently. And you might get a different result. Let's see. Hello, my name's Ryan. What's your name? Nice to meet you, Tasha. What I want to do for you is I know you don't want to hug. My friend Jaden tried to hug, but I'm going to approach it differently, okay? I want you to take your hands right up like this. Give yourself a big hug. Now we're hugging. The connection of her hugging, instead of me breaking and breaching that contact, means so much. You respected a hidden thing called a boundary. So thank you so much, Tasha, for being that example. Please do.
And I know you talked about it a little bit, like touch. So another thing that's big for people that are autistic sometimes is textures. So for my niece, that's nonverbal, textures was a big thing. So for some years, she wouldn't let her dad hug her. She didn't want to because he had a mustache. So she didn't like the texture. So just imagine, that's your child. You can't. They don't want to be. But it's textures. That's why it's like important to kind of know these things. Like I've learned even on Sunday when we greet visitors, I don't just hug them. I would say, "Do you hug? Is it okay?" Because it doesn't have an age, and you don't know what it is. You don't know if it's textures. You don't know if it's a touch. You don't know if it's a sound. Another thing that I've picked up is a lot of, sometimes people get on kids that got headphones, but it blocks things. So you kind of need that, and adults too. So that's why one of the reasons you see a lot of people with it, because it's just too much. You just need to block stuff out. So I brought that up because you talked about the touch. But yeah, textures, touch, like it can be colors. It's really anything. So just ask permission for everything. It's not overload. It's for Jay or for me?
Both.
Oh.
With that being said, is it a bad idea, because you said don't assume, so I'm going to say, is it a bad idea? Is it a bad idea to think that water is applicable to all autism?
Applicable to all autism. Yes, elaborate.
Like,
please.
I've heard that kids with autism, humans with autism, are attracted to large bodies of water, or water in general. Is that urban legend, or is that something you shouldn't assume that that's something that's...
I wouldn't assume that is harmful for water, but you're saying large bodies of water.
Yeah.
I think you're saying that it's because it's different for each one. One, it might be water is soothing. One, water might be too much. So it's not one of those things that every autistic person goes to this. It really depends on the person and the individual.
Bet. Okay.
If I could answer it, If I was Bruce Lee, the karate man, I would say, be like water, my friend. You pour a water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You pour a water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. You can be that shapeshifter for them. Yes. Some microphones.
One of the things that
Let's give some affirmations to Tasha.
yes. One of the things in my research, and there's a book. Gabby, look up my Audible library. There's a book that I want to recommend. But one of the things in my research, because I've done some deep research, because there's a lot of neurodivergent people that I love dearly in my life, and every single person, some are nonverbal, some are what I described earlier, and first of all, word choice.
Yes.
Not the dealing with, not the it's people living with mental health challenges, or people living with special abilities, like especially in the African American community. And to I think it was Deacon Tyler, I couldn't see who was back there, talking about caregiver capacity. That's critical. When you're in a trauma-informed care training, that's one of the main things that is talked about, because being a primary caregiver is it's heavy.
Yes.
It's heavy, and so we need to support that. To Minister Aisha's point, being that person, but also in the Black church, for years, and in the Black community, we have why is it not coming up? We have just been late to the I'm sorry, I'm looking for the book
okay.
and
If
talking.
there's a book after,
It's called Uniquely Human, by Barry Prezant, PhD. And where I got that book from is I was actually reading Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's book, and one of her daughters is autistic, and she had a hard time getting a diagnosis, if you can imagine. Her husband's a doctor, and she found this book, and it helped her tremendously. But back to what I'm saying. So in the church, to what Tasha said is so critical. We look at kids perhaps with headphones on, or we look at kids maybe with a phone in their hand or iPad, and that may be a soothing mechanism or a point of contact that they need to look at something, or they need to have sensory isolation, and so there are things we need to unlearn that we're thinking, oh, they're being bad, or they're misbehaving, or ooh, their parents don't have control of this kid.
Sure.
Not knowing the story, because autism is not a badge that you wear and you know that this person is autistic. 1 in 31 people are autistic. That means if you got a class of 30, which most most classrooms are, that means that there's one kid in there that's neurodivergent, and 1 in 35 adults are neurodivergent. And so and to your point of saying you have a relative with schizophrenia, the spectrum is called a spectrum for a reason, because it includes ADHD, it includes schizophrenia, it includes so many things.
It does.
So many things. And so I just wanted to say, as a church, to Tasha's point of even asking about, can I hug you? There's so many things that come with this, and there needs to be, I hope, a paradigm shift in our community. And I love that we're doing this as a church, that instead of looking and assuming the worst, that we stop assuming and be more educated and find out, because maybe you're neurotypical, maybe you're neurodivergent, maybe your child's neurotypical, maybe your child's neurodivergent. Maybe we should learn more about what those terms mean.
For sure. And more to that point is because the presentation will be sent out. Oh, yeah, we got one more question, but let me finish up my last thought. Is this presentation will be sent, and there will be some resources that you could also do your own research on as well. Just don't take my word for it. Go on ahead.
Yeah, so there's a person in my classroom that's named Miles, and he talks differently, but besides all the students in my classroom.
Yes.
So he talks like differently, and everyone in the classroom, and he looks differently and talks differently, and that's all.
Thank you for sharing. All of those are very important to observe a part of it. So you've also been observing yourself. Normal, because there is no normal. Deformities?
No, like funny stuff or anything.
Yeah.
Like some of them look like, so you know it's a difference. Like some of them like affect like
Yes.
autism or Down syndrome can affect your looks. And it was a student that I was checking in, and she looked regular, and whole time she was nonverbal. That's why I said, like for example, like they don't talk about how some of them can be born with autism or Down syndrome, but look
100%.
like a whole regular human being who have their regular mental capacity, and you wouldn't know that until you interact with them, and that's kind of scary. So you wouldn't know until they kind of lash out on them.
So we assume. Until you interact with them, befriend one of them, and really get to see who they are as a person. And to an earlier point, we talked about that spectrum. The spectrum is so wide.
And some of them kind of like smile, like as a coping mechanism. I noticed, like they be so smiley, like they got like a good bright spirit on them, and that's what kind of cool about God is like kind of intentional. He made them with a good spirit and good discernment because they picky who they trust.
Yes. Let's move on to our next slide. This is our key takeaways to wrap it up. Let me just quiz you right quick. What does the O stand for? What does the E stand for? How about the A? Ooh, you're good. How about the S? Rock and rolling. Love it. Some key takeaways from all this. If you were on your iPad, maybe you got a nap or something, here's the takeaways. Number 1, awareness reduces fear. Research. Did I say research? Research. Number 2, structure creates safety. Make that safety net the same amount of safety as you want for you to feel safe. And number 3, small adjustments make big differences. You don't need to be an expert in autism to create welcoming spaces. You just need awareness, patience, and empathy. Next slide, please. Last one. I'll take the snaps. Thank you. It's really all of you that made this come together. I have the easy part standing up here and just saying what I've done some research for you. But it was the volunteers that came up. It's our awesome pastor, Tasha, the church, you. I have some resources you might want to look for later down the road. It's not really an open question, but there's a show I like. It is called Monk. It's no longer airing, but you can stream it on Prime. Monk, he has obsessive compulsive disorder, and it takes over his whole life. But he solves crimes because he's made a special way. So he uses his gift. We all have our gifts. We just need to share it. That's what gifts are for. Another one on Netflix, if you don't have Prime, I like to watch Love on the Spectrum. Love on the Spectrum goes through individuals with people with autism who, interact with people and find love, and how scary and exciting of a feeling that can be. And just how raw and natural it is what makes me smile. It makes me happy because you should smile at some stuff. Let us not forget People on the spectrum are very smart. They can even outsmart you. They make jokes. They like to have fun. They like to push buttons sometimes. It's not always about helping. It's about that interaction. Say, you got me. Smile. So just like we demonstrated with Tasha, this is how I'm going to leave off with you, as I want you to put both hands up in the air like you're on a roller coaster. All hands up, all hands up. And slowly, I see the person in the back, thank you. Come, there you go. Bring it in the hug. I'm hugging all of you.
We want to thank Jay for this amazing session. And then, Pastor Mark, do you have any?
Hey, listen, while we're thanking God for Jaden, can we also thank Tasha Langdon for connecting us with Jaden? Jaden, before you go, I wanted to ask you a couple of really quick questions here.
Yes, sir.
And then we're going to go because I know our time is far spent. What can we do as a church to accommodate families that are autistic? So, like, I heard you talk about, like, the loud music.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know. We were trying to address one particular need, but
Right.
I can see it possibly being another. So, like, if you see that,
Mm-hmm.
that room back there to the left.
Yes.
That's like our quiet room, and so we put tent in there.
Perfect.
We can kill the sound in there, but
Perfect.
Are there other suggestions that you have of things that we could do to help accommodate?
Yeah. If there's any programs that you might run for teens or the youth, having programs dedicated to their needs, they will give you that answer.
Okay. Gotcha.
And through that study, you will see that those people who are a part of that program might also help some people who are also here in the community, if that may answer your question.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Yes, sir.
And then one other question that I have, I got one other, but I'll ask you offline. Your example you gave where you may need to take a child or a teenager out of an environment.
Yes.
When you separate them, someone who's beating on themselves or doing something physical themselves,
right?
Should we talk to that person or just give them some time to just be in another space that's like quiet?
Mm-hmm.
How would you suggest kind of dealing with that?
I would suggest if there is emotions that are really hot at the moment, ground them first. Putting 2 feet on the ground, doing some 4 counts of breath that we work through. And if you happen to have any tools like stress toys, something that they can squeeze, something that they can redirect that hurtful energy onto them into an object instead.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Because we can't remove what that source of the problem might be.
Yeah.
But we can do our best to guide it to the right place.
Got it.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you so much. Those are the only questions that I had. Let's
Thank
give
you.
Jaden a round of applause again for being here. Thank you so much. And we really appreciate you being here tremendously.
Thank you.
Don't leave without me getting that other question to you. I'm gonna ask you offline.
Yes, sir.
Listen, we're so grateful to have Jaden here and Sister Tasha Langdon helping bring this to our attention. I want to say to you as your pastor, I don't know it all and I don't see everything. But what we want to be able to do is this was brought up because of an opportunity that we saw to be able to help serve everyone who's a part of our church family. And we don't want to exclude or have anyone to feel they're being left out. So we want to do our best to help to address those needs that you see. And so I wanted to say to you, if you could just help communicate needs, opportunities that you see to myself or our deacons that are part of our church family, we want to do our best to help make sure we're meeting the needs of everyone. And that looks different to everyone. As I was sitting here listening to him just talk just now, I'm grateful we did put light reducing tent on that window, that room, that can be a place for someone who may just need an escape, made me start thinking about, do we need to buy some earmuffs that like kill sound? I mean, I'm serious. There was even something recently brought up. We need someone who can sign, who can do sign language. And God's graced us that we have the tools here to be able to do that. But in the meantime, if that's an immediate need that we have, and that would be helpful for someone coming to God's house,
we want to make the investment to do so, but we don't want to do it without being aware that there's a consistent ongoing need. So I say that to you because I don't know the situation of everyone, or may have relatives or family members or kids or even you yourself, but if you can help communicate that to us, we want to do our best to be of service. And that may even look like having Jaden or someone else help us with people who come in direct contact with people here on a weekly basis to help educate you of like how to interact with people. I want to say this to all of you. I mentioned it to our ushers and people part of our hospitality umbrella, part of our church. You know, once somebody makes it in the sanctuary and they sit down, leave them alone. They are already here. Leave them alone. They sat down. They got a hat. They got a costume on. Leave them alone. I'm not trying to be comical. I'm being serious. Because listen, here's the thing. Once they make it to God's house, let's just see what God does to do his part and do the work. Like, I appreciate Minister Aisha bringing this up. And I wouldn't have said anything unless she brought it up. But Vaughn used to go the other direction for me. And she'll see me and she'll just wander right over to me. Give me a hug. And I'll be like, okay, man, I'm in good company. Right, Vaughn? We're good people, right? Yeah, she's like, don't bring no attention to me. But that took time for her to become comfortable with me. And so I had to learn that for myself progressively to understand, Vaughn don't trust everybody. And I'm glad I made the cut. If you didn't make the cut, just keep coming to church and she'll fall in love with you too. If all our hearts and minds are clear, I'm going to pray for us. We're going to get going. Look forward to seeing you Sunday for Sunday school at 9 a.m. Listen, church, as God continues to grow us, the diversity of our church will continue to expand. When the gospel net is thrown out, it brings in all kind. That's the beautiful thing about the net. You don't get to pick and choose what comes in. You just throw out the net, and whatever gets caught in the net is going to come in. And it's going to call for us to have, listen to me well, to have more volunteers. I sat there and I was listening to the example here, and we really are going to get going. I started thinking, if you have to take a child out of a room, you got to have more hands to spend time with that person. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? That means more of us got to get off the bench and in the game. You don't understand what I'm saying? It's great to hear that. But your heart should be convicted about what can I do to help be a solution to a problem. And that's what's going to be needed. That's going to require time. Like I heard him I was listening, I don't know, in a way maybe some of y'all weren't. But if he said transition was supposed to take 5 minutes, takes 15, what a normal child might take 30 seconds or a minute and a half might be 10. And you can't pull the person who's teaching the class out away from the rest of the group, because now the rest of those students feel cheated. Because it will look like they're interrupting. They're not. They got some way they're trying to express their emotion, but you got to have those additional bodies. So I say to those of you who are here, some of you maybe who are watching online, be praying, asking God about how I can get involved. And listen to me well. Here's the really important piece. I sound like Reverend Joe Todd standing up here, man. Man, we need you to be faithful. To be faithful and committed. Because the one thing I'm telling you, man, our kids do better than adults is they screen people. And if you're not legit and you're not committed, they will know it. They may not say anything, but they know the real scoop. And we need you to be consistent and reliable as we serve the people who are part of our church. Let's pray. We'll be on our way. Again, Jaden, thank you so much for being here, man. We appreciate you tremendously. Father in heaven, thank you now for all we've heard and what we've seen today. I pray you will table upon our hearts, Lord, not for if, but when we come across paths with another one of your sons and daughters who you've built in a really creative and unique way. Help us to embrace the way you've built them. Pray, Lord, you give us all more patience. Give us listening ears. Table it upon our hearts what we heard this evening. And I pray, Lord, for more volunteers to help us in meeting the needs of those you will send to this church. Lord, help us that we don't leave anyone out. So I'm asking you, send someone here who can do sign language. Equip us with the tools, if it's not a person, to be able to connect with those who may be deaf or hard of hearing or may have some sensory challenges, Lord, or opportunities, better yet. I pray that you would help us as a church to meet those needs. I pray for people who will be patient, who will observe, who will have empathy, Lord. Would you help us as a church to do that? And I pray, Lord, that if we have to create space for those who you send here, who have those specific needs, would you help us now to identify those spaces and give us the people, help us to use the resources wisely for the building of your kingdom to meet all of your children. We ask now, Lord, as we leave this place, we never from your presence, will you watch after us? Grant us traveling grace to our various destinations, and then grant us the opportunity to be able to gather together again soon. Lord, lastly, as I end this time of prayer, I pray for those who are caregivers, Lord, who it's still fresh to them. Would you restore them and heal them? Would you give them a continued understanding heart? And I pray, Lord, also that you would help those of us who see the opportunity to provide respite care to those who are caregivers. May we also offer encouragement to them as they can care for those who you've entrusted to their care. Thank you for you doing all this now in the strong and matchless name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen. God bless you all. Love you all. See you Sunday at 9 a.m. for Sunday school.